More and more I realize that what people really need and what people are looking for are other people who are alive. That exchange between two people, that actual experience of getting the tattoo, sometimes people weep. In a lot of ways, it's one of the only rite of passages in our current culture and context. In a lot of ways, White Whale began back in 2007. I had just finished my undergraduate degree in literature at the University of Cincinnati. And for my final project, I had studied Moby Dick and fell in love with that book again. I think a lot of us go through a part of our life where we're looking for what our gifting is and what we want to do. And I think in a lot of ways, I was at a place in my life where I was looking for my own white whale, and that led me to Guatemala. So I spent some time volunteering in gang prisons, and I found that a lot of the young men and women who were in the gangs who were trying to leave the gang lifestyle needed to cover up their gang tattoos. And their tattoos could be life-threatening even if they were just out in public or they were on a public bus. I had just got a tattoo before I moved to Guatemala City to kind of represent that journey and really hit it off with the tattoo artist. So I invited him to come down to Guatemala City and do these gang cover-up tattoos, and we put our heads together about how to cover these up. A lot of the gang members would be completely covered. In some ways, it's kind of a symbol of your dedication to that. Most artists prefer a blank canvas, so it is already a challenge in a lot of ways, but I think something about that challenge is really fun, and it's definitely worth it to see something that symbolizes something that someone wants to get rid of or they're embarrassed about, and they feel like it's not a part of who they are anymore. For example, there's a gentleman named Luis who had a gang symbol on his arm. And Luis now sells cupcakes on the public buses. And he has 3 kids, and this is how he feeds his family now. But every day he was afraid to get on the public buses because he was afraid someone would see his tattoo and he could lose his life over it. So he wanted to cover his tattoo up with a cupcake, and it's this really vibrant, colorful cupcake, and it looks beautiful, and Luis has the greatest smile that any of us have seen. So to see lives being changed by body art was so fascinating to me. And that's when I was offered an apprenticeship when I moved back to Cincinnati. As I was thinking about tattooing and I was building my first tattoo machine from scratch, I built the machine, I wrapped the coils in Guatemala currency, and the washers are drilled out quetzal, which is the coin of Guatemala. And I always wanted to remember why I got into this and how I could use my gifts to give back somehow. My wife Becky and we decided it was time about 4 years ago, and we had a home that we loved in Evanston. And we sold that home so that we could open White Whale. As we looked at the building and the skyline that we could see from the building, told us how much we love Cincinnati, and we felt like this was the place. We originally only envisioned a private studio for myself, but very quickly we felt that some amazing artists were coming into our lives who had never necessarily thought about tattooing, but their style of art would make great tattoos, and I had never seen some of these styles done as tattoos. Our team loves to meet together and collaborate on designs and ask each other for insight and input. Every day, like, I feel sharpened as a person and as an artist. We do these flash day fundraisers where typically we book by appointment only, but we'll do a day where it's first come, first serve, and we have pre-designed images that people can select from. We tattoo all day as much as we can, and that money goes to pay for these trips to Guatemala. Now we go back annually. We take our whole team of artists down there, as well as some friends from other tattoo shops in the area. I think a big part of my heart still resides in Guatemala. We want to keep going back. I strongly believe that everyone has a particular gift that the world really needs. So if you're doing what you love, I think that automatically helps the people around you. And if you can figure out how to use that gift to help other people, then it's a win-win.